raised 1.7 billion through cold emails. Investors may keep on telling founders that referrals are better than cold emails. There's a bunch of founders that disprove this theory. Most of my clients included. That's a long ass sentence, but got that idea from a mastermind. Shout out to Sunny and Dan to disprove. Was wondering if company was raising another round. If so, I charge to 5% of what I can raise for you. Would that be worth a call? Maybe what I could do is separate this and that for clarity, because people will see the first one and be like, what's he saying? Okay. Maybe we can have them smaller, be less aggressive. If so, I charge of what I can raise for you. So yeah, simple email. Today I wanted to also add some stuff to a couple of my signatures. Just so you know, like where I'm on to. So these are 5, 10, 15 mailbox, or maybe a bit less. Let's say 10. What I wanted to do is just add a LinkedIn link so that people can see me on LinkedIn. I've drastically simplified my signature. The downside of that is that I'll lose some opens, but as I've cracked down the science of open rates and deliverability, I don't mind risking that. Yeah, and last weekend I've really simplified my signature because I thought it was way too much. I was like, okay, maybe less is more, especially with the amount of offer that I'm testing right now. Some parts of my signature might be confusing. Some emails are short. My signature is literally longer than the full goddamn email. So I was like, okay, why not simplify it drastically? So currently I be testing that. Some stuff that I used to include in my signature was PS, I generated this amount of meeting for clients, which didn't work because I'm testing other offers. Some other stuff was dog dad, whatever the fuck that means. I mean, thought I'd A/B tested since the logic was that around 60% humans own a dog or something close to this. So I was like, okay, but yeah, I thought it was quite odd, just didn't fit the character of some of my emails. Some of these emails are quite hard charging, and then you're like, hey, I'm a dog dad. So thought I'd delete that. Right. So this one is done here. That'll probably be the shorter of them all. Um, this one here, yeah, let's start with that one. So that's a blab type of sequence. It's like ideas that I had from clients today and mastermind people. Comes down to one thing. Ultimately, client generation comes down to one criterion, to one element, to anything else is noise. How extensively has company tested maybe offers lately? Might want to use cold outreach system to test out your offers. I'd love to show you the machine I used to test offer at scale. Yeah, it's not too good. Then I have this long ass email which I decided to segment into multiple emails, which is this one here. Because and the why behind that one is that I had usually Monday is a client meeting day, and yeah, today I had like two or three clients telling me like how good the podcast funnel is. It's just the best thing since sliced bread. It just works so well. 100 meetings per week. And my thought is still like, hey, most humans don't understand the podcast funnel. Most humans disregard the podcast funnel for whatever reason. And the whatever reason to my mind came that they just don't know. They just don't know how powerful it is. It's boring. I think I've got on the train before because I've been a podcast fiend myself for the past 7 to 10 years of my entrepreneurial career. I've been obsessed with listening podcasts, hence it was only normal for me to experiment to start with my own podcast, right? But most people aren't like that. I think most people are still yet to catch up with podcasts. So my thesis is like, okay, I'm going to educate them on why the podcast thing. Anyway, so the offer's there. Let's try this one here. And by the way, this one will be before, because I spoke on how their niche was competitive in the other one. No lie, the vertical niche is one of the most competitive out there. Wonder if company has thought of launching a podcast to be different and generate a bunch of leads. Or is that, or would that be a distraction? So this one is a bit odd, right? It's oddly written. It's like if it was it's like if it was written on a cell phone, kind of like it because it's quite short. What's always funny is that we think we're right in a lot of ways. We judge a lot as humans, but this market is so complex. And when you think this email suck, what I've learned is that some people will react to it, and actually the email is actually really friggin' good, um, against your expectations, right? I've heard again, like, think this weekend, some entrepreneur saying like, "Oh, listen to your gut feeling." Yeah, I'm not too much in favor of listening to my gut. I impose resistance on me. I impose pain, and I learn from data's. I I've learned that listening to your gut has you lose a lot of opportunities. A lot of people, they'll just justify pretty much everything with their guts, right? Oh, this doesn't feel right, but most humans are scared of everything that is not familiar. Hence, you just never take risk when you always listen to your gut and go for comfort, right? So, anyway, that is to say, sometimes you may write a good cold email. It might have a terrible outcome. Sometimes you might write a shitty email that you may think will have zero chances of making it, but the market might smile to it. So, one of the lessons today. So, in that sequence, and by the way, let's not close that last one. This sequence, I took this very large email here, and no, not this one here, and I cut it into multiple smaller emails. So this one's in sliced bread. Um, since sliced bread, so podcasting as a lead gen funnel is the most underrated sales activity. Sales is the most underrated um, channel out there. Sales method out there. You cold email companies, ICP, inviting them to a podcast, and then and and then conduct a sales discovery call with them. You publish the podcast and have this ICP share with their ICP friends. Has company thought of doing this? One of my best performing email was company podcast. I just feel that people wouldn't understand my follow-up message. Maybe it was too long. Yeah, I'm guilty of imposing my mind on my prospects and assuming that they'll understand everything that I tell them. Well, most don't. First name. Cold email campaigns fail because their offer is bad and prospects are flagging you as spam. One great offer that has 75% open rates is podcasting. You invite companies ICP to a podcast, record, and then pitch your podcast as a prospect. What were your thoughts on that idea? I like the open questions because I use them to get more feedback on my prospects. So, why people accept podcast invites? Companies, prospects might say no to a demo call, sales call, but 80% of them will say yes to a podcast invitation. People love being in the limelight and getting free publicity, which is why we exploit that to get them in companies' sales pipeline. It's a win. Podcasting is a win-win offer that will get you as much as 50 leads per week. I'd love to show you how. The lesson here is that the more you promote something, the more you get clients, the more these clients believe into what you're doing and are getting results with what you're doing. That's positive feedback to keep on scaling something, right? There's a lot of products that I launch. I'm getting clients and getting very low feedback or low positive feedback. For example, my masterminds, which are free, right? And that's usually a signal that, hey, you should not be continuing this offer if like you're not getting positive feedback. Which is why also you need to have a bunch of offers and test them on existing clients. For example, a lot of clients of mine, they sign up for lead gen, but I tell them about this podcast things like, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread, and then they try it and they feel it, and this like gives me inspiration to launch more of these campaigns and put more of my energy into that. Instead of inviting companies, prospects to a sales call, not invite them to a podcast. The offer is way more friendly, plus can scale to the sky. I used to get 100 leads, podcast meetings per week, and close 10% of these into clients. Love to show you how I did it. I love these. They're quite short, or to the point, you know. First name. A lot of my clients are using podcasts as a sales tool. They interview their ideal customer persona and subscribe them to and connect with them via LinkedIn afterwards. Through LinkedIn and newsletter content, they then succeed into selling their clients, their services. You'd be surprised at how effective the podcast lead funnel is at generating large quantity of leads and scaling. I'd love to show you that funnel in action on my screen. Your ICP shares with more ICP. Okay. Your ICP will share with colleagues. Once you've interviewed your ideal customer persona on podcast call, they will share to their professional network, resulting in company getting free publicity and client referrals. Have you thought of using podcasts, a lead gen mechanism? Constant research and experimenting. First name. My clients use podcasts to generate leads and get market research so that they can refine their offers and dominate their market. Industry companies usually don't innovate in that manner, and it could be a great way for company to capture important market shares. Should we get on a call to discuss more details? So this funnel is assuming that these people will have got many emails from you previously. First name. My clients produce AI shorts out of their long form podcast content, generating them thousands of views on YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Have you thought of creating your own company podcast to reach more of your ideal clients? Slagging. The goal, by the way, guys, is just to spit all that content in one shot, and after the crime is done, to review what you've written and see if there's errors or not, right? That is the ultimate goal. You don't want to get you don't want to advance on your breaks. You don't want to confuse the brain into creating vs editing. By the way, ChatGPT is great to edit these or to reformat these. um, got me 100 meetings wondering interested in me doing something similar for a company. I love the shortness of these. Who doesn't like a very short cold email? Clients of mine use podcasting to generate 100 leads per week. I can't point to a single system that can reproduce similar results in a limited amount of time in such a short. Wasn't necessarily motivated today to write these emails. I just ate, so brain is a bit convoluted. But a good hack for you guys is to actually uh, do some live campaigns like this one here. It makes you accountable in the eyes of everyone to actually launch stuff. It's funny. Yeah, I have very different thesis on most things. You know, a lot of people they go live just for the content. I go live to be accountable. Um, yeah, I remember doing some high intensity trainings um, on my YouTube, and the way to get me going was to film it live, you know, and be accountable to most. A lot of people post stuff on LinkedIn for the views. I do it to get smarter, you know. I have that public accountability and some feedback, and don't give a shit how much views I'm getting from these. The importance is me learning from these. So what was the last one? I also had an LA mastermind that I'm starting for one of my friends. These are actual like physical masterminds. Um, so yeah, this one is quite simple. I covered it already in the last video. It's like you pick the best restaurant in LA with the best view, and gonna keep it to this for today, guys. If you have any questions for me or comments, you let me know, and yeah, I'll talk to you very soonish.